Today I'm going to show you how to make Bon Vivant, a classic French dessert. It's absolutely delicious with hazelnut meringue on the base and a chocolate layer on top. It's quite unusual to find it, so you'll guarantee to surprise your guests when you serve it up. It's a little bit of effort involved, but it is absolutely worth it. So let's get started on Bon Vivant. Alright, so to make today's recipe, there's a few things that you're going to need. First of all, you need some hazelnut meal. Now this is Lucky brand hazelnut meal. It comes in 150 gram bag, so you'll need 2 of these. Or if you can't find this, just grind your own hazelnuts in a food processor. This you'll find in the cooking section of your supermarket. You'll also need some really good quality cooking chocolate. Now this is the favourite one of mine. It's the Plaistow Nestle Premium Dark Cooking Chocolate, but you can use whichever dark chocolate you like. Just make sure it's a good chocolate, not a compound cooking chocolate. You'll also need some eggs. You'll need 8 of these, so make sure you've got enough in your packet. Some unsalted butter. Now the reason you always use unsalted is you don't want that salty taste through your desserts. Some caster sugar, of course, and that's pretty much it. So let's get started. So I've got my oven on to preheat at 180 degrees Celsius, and the first thing I need to do is separate 8 eggs. Now when you're separating eggs, I always suggest that you break them into some smaller bowls first and tip them one at a time into your mixing bowl. The reason is even the most experienced chef can get some of that egg yolk into the white, and that will absolutely kill any kind of meringue or fluffiness that you're looking for in the egg whites. So I always do it. When I'm separating a lot of eggs, I use an egg separator, but there's no problem with doing it the old-fashioned way. So just break all of your eggs one at a time, carefully separating them, separating the yolk from the egg. Just make sure all the white gets into your bowl, because that's going to give us the lovely volume that we're looking for. And then tip it into your master mixing bowl. Alright, the next thing you're going to want to do is pop your egg whites in the mix master and beat them on a really high speed till they're light and fluffy. So this bit's going to take 5 or 6 minutes. Alright, so what's happening now is they're starting to look quite white and fluffy. So once they get to this stage, we're going to start adding 250 grams of caster sugar into it. But the trick here is to add it really slowly, bit by bit, because that way it dissolves fully and you won't get that grainy texture through your meringue. So turn down your mix master so it's quite low and just drop a little bit in at a time and just wait for that to be incorporated into the egg white. Alright, looks like we're ready for a little bit more. Alright, so it looks like our meringue is nearly done, and the way you can tell this is it's in stiff peaks. And what does a stiff peak mean? It means that it's going to stay up by itself. So if you were going to hold it up like that, it's going to stay like that. It's not going to drip down. So that means we're ready to go to the next stage, which is adding the hazelnut meal. Right, so this is a 150 gram pack, as I mentioned, so the whole thing goes in here. Just chuck it in to start, and we're going to put just a little bit of the next packet in as well. You don't have to be too worried about the measurements here. Usually with baking you need to be absolutely precise, but this is a little bit more forgiving. So just put in about half of that packet. And this is where you need a good spatula, and you're just going to fold that in lightly. Now what does folding mean? It means literally wrapping that over, under and over, just to incorporate all the egg whites in there. The reason you don't do this in the mix master is you don't want to take all the air out of it. So just slowly blend that through. And once we've done that, we're going to put it into our prepared dish. Now our dish, we need quite a large pan, okay? So this is a springform pan, so it has the handle there so you can easily take it apart. I've greased the bottom of that with butter. Now I don't recommend using a spray for this. It is easier, but it just doesn't have the same taste and texture. And what you're going to do is line the tin with breadcrumbs. These are just ordinary Crumbly's breadcrumbs you get from the supermarket. So just dump a bit into the bottom, and what you're going to do is shake it all around, and it'll actually stick to where the butter is. But the important thing here is to make sure you're getting the edges too. So the way I do that is just gently tap it and turn it as you go around, and it will stick to the side of the pan as you go. And as you can see, we're all nicely aligned with the breadcrumbs. You may think this is an odd thing to do, but trust me, when the cake is finished, it will be absolutely worth it. All right, now getting carefully to the bottom, it looks like I've incorporated it fairly evenly through there. So now I'm going to pop all of this mixture into my lined tin. Now this is going to form the meringue base of my cake. It's absolutely delicious. It will look like it's filling up a lot of the cake tin, which is why you need a really big tin. So just pop that all in there. There's a lot. This is why you need a good spatula, so you can make sure you're getting all of the mixture out. So a nice flexible resin one is what I recommend. And just press that gently into the edges and corners. There are no corners, it's round. Into the edges of this tin. Just being careful that you don't pull the breadcrumbs away from the outside. So just make sure it's roughly flat. Again, you don't need to be too precise here. And then we're going to pop it into our preheated oven. It's at 180 degrees, and we're going to just pop that in for about 20 minutes. So while that's baking away, we can get started on the top, which is the chocolate. And the first step for that is to melt the chocolate. So what I always do for that is take some boiling water, put it in a pan, and we're going to melt the chocolate over the top of this very slowly. The reason we do this, instead of just sticking it in the microwave, which you can do, is the chocolate is incredibly easy to burn, and you really don't want that burnt taste through your cake. Now when your base has been in the oven for about 20 minutes, it should be nicely golden brown. So let's just pop that out now and take a look. Perfect. Great, so this is what you're looking for, just a lightly brown meringue. It's ready for us to put that topping on. All right, so now we're just putting the melted chocolate into our mixture that we've whipped together of eggs, butter and sugar. And we're just gonna mix that through really well to make sure it's really good and chocolatey. And what we do now is we just pop that onto the meringue that we've baked earlier. So just pour that carefully on. Beautiful chocolatiness. And then it's gonna go in the oven for really not long at all. We'll take a look at it after 10 minutes just to see a nice skin forming on the top. We don't want this to cook too much. All right, so our cake's been in the oven for about 15 minutes, and now we're gonna take a look, see if it's ready. It's looking fantastic. So what we're looking for is this nice crust on the top. And you just want to check that it's cooked through. And the way we do that is to make sure that it's moist but not wet. So just get a skewer and just pop it into the cake. There'll probably be a few cracks on the top, and you just want to make sure that it's coming out dry. And that way it's perfect. So what we're going to do is let it cool in the pan for about 5-10 minutes, and then we'll take it all out of there. All right, so the cake's been cooling for about 5 minutes, so now we're just going to run a sharp knife gently around the edge of the tin, just to make sure that it doesn't stick to the sides, because this is a sticky cake. Now, once you've done that, just ever so gently release the springform hinge and try and ease it away from the sides. Now, there's a fairly good chance that your top of your cake will crack a little bit when you do this. Don't panic, it's going to taste so amazing that no one is going to mind. So give it a bit of a shake and then gently lift the top away from your springform tin, and you will be left with a beautiful looking cake like this. Now, to get it off the base of your tin, what we're just going to do is put a plate over the top, reverse it, peel off the base, and then flip it back again. So here we go. It's a little bit hot, so I'm going to do it with the board it's on. Oh. All right, then we're going to gently pull away our base. If it sticks at all, just again, run a knife under the base and then lift that ever so gently off. So I'm just going to show you, the base of our cake is this lovely, soft, springy meringue. It's that hazelnut meringue that we've just made. And then finally, the tray that you're going to serve it on. And then we are going to flip that again. Oh. The best way to do that is fast and confident. Because if you muck about with it, you're likely to end up with it on the floor. So just be confident. And then what you'll end up with is this beautiful chocolate hazelnut meringue. So you can see this lovely sort of soft coating of chocolate we've got on the top, and there's a base on the bottom. You'll have crumbs all around, just brush those off. You might have a few cracks, but what we're going to do is let this cool completely, and then we're going to sprinkle some icing sugar over the top. You can decorate it with fresh strawberries if you like, and then it's going to be ready to serve. Alright, so the cake is completely cool now, and so what we're just going to do is get some icing sugar and just lightly dust that over the top. Now this is beautiful served by itself, or with some double cream or whipped cream, or even some ice cream. There it is, the beautiful Bon Vivant. Serve, enjoy, and wait for the compliments to come rolling in.